and the church bells chimed for evening prayers, Grace Atwood transformed. In the daylight hours, she was the dutiful pastor's wife, but as night fell, she became someone else entirely. In the serene town of Maplewood, nestled between rolling hills and whispering pine trees, the central point of community life was St. Stephen's Church. The church stood like a sentinel, its white spire piercing the azure sky, a beacon of hope and faith for the townsfolk. The church was led by Pastor David Atwood, a man known for his unwavering faith, warm heart, and impassioned sermons. Beside him, always composed and supportive, was his wife, Grace Atwood. Grace was the epitome of a pastor's wife. She was dignified, compassionate, and involved in every aspect of church life. Whether it was organizing charity events, leading Bible study groups, or visiting the sick and elderly, Grace did it all with a smile that never wavered. Her dedication to the church and its members was evident in everything she did. To the congregation, Grace was a saint. She had a gentle way of encouraging others to open their hearts and minds to God's word. Her deep, soulful eyes seemed to understand every sorrow and joy, every struggle and triumph. Yet beneath her calm exterior, Grace harbored a secret that would shock the very foundations of Maplewood's tight-knit community. As dusk settled over Maplewood and the church bells chimed for evening prayers, Grace Atwood transformed. In the daylight hours, she was the dutiful pastor's wife, but as night fell, she became someone else entirely. Grace was not merely a pastor's wife, she was also a sugar mummy. This transformation was not sudden, it had roots deep in her past. Grace had grown up in a modest family, always yearning for more than what her humble upbringing could offer. When she met David in college, she was captivated by his unwavering faith and the sense of purpose he exuded. Marrying him seemed like the perfect path to a fulfilling life. However, as the years passed, the allure of being a pastor's wife began to wane. The constant demands of the church, the expectations of the congregation, and the unwavering routine began to stifle her spirit. Grace craved excitement, a sense of control, and a way to escape the monotony of her life. Grace's journey into her double life began innocuously enough. It started with discreet chats on online forums and social media. She discovered a world where affluent women, dissatisfied with their conventional lives, sought companionship and adventure with younger men. The idea intrigued her, offering a tantalizing glimpse of a life less constrained by societal expectations. One evening, while David was engrossed in preparing his sermon, Grace took a bold step. She signed up on a website catering to women seeking younger men. The initial interactions were tentative, but soon she found herself drawn to a charismatic young man named Josh. He was everything she wasn't: spontaneous, carefree, and living life on his terms. Their first meeting was a whirlwind. Grace had driven to a neighboring town under the pretense of visiting a sick relative. She and Josh spent the evening at a lavish restaurant where he showered her with attention and made her feel alive in a way she hadn't felt in years. The encounter ignited a spark within her, a hunger for more. Managing her double life required meticulous planning and a measure of deceit. Grace's days were consumed by church activities and maintaining her image as the devoted pastor's wife. She continued to support David, helping him prepare sermons, organizing community events, and providing a listening ear to parishioners in need. Nights, however, were a different story. Grace would often claim to be visiting friends or attending late-night church meetings, giving her the freedom to indulge in her secret life. She frequented upscale bars and clubs where she could meet with her companions without fear of recognition. The thrill of these clandestine meetings provided a stark contrast to her daytime persona. Grace was acutely aware of the risks. The scandal of her double life would not only destroy her reputation, but also shatter David's career and the faith of their congregation. Yet, the excitement, the rush of living on the edge, was intoxicating. It gave her a sense of power and liberation she couldn't find within the confines of her prescribed role. Grace's dual existence soon became a delicate web of lies and half-truths. She had to be constantly vigilant, ensuring that her two worlds never collided. She developed an intricate system of keeping track of her alibis, covering her tracks meticulously. Her relationship with Josh continued to flourish. He was enamored with her sophistication and the aura of mystery she exuded. Grace, in turn, found solace in his youthful exuberance and the freedom he represented. He was a reminder of the life she could have led, a life unburdened by the expectations of others. But as their relationship deepened, so did the complications. Josh began to question the secrecy, wanting to know more about her life. Grace found it increasingly difficult to keep him at arm's length, fearing that any slip could unravel the carefully constructed facade she had built. Despite her best efforts, the cracks in Grace's dual life began to show. She became more distracted, often lost in thought during church meetings or community events. Her absences became more frequent, raising eyebrows among the congregation. Whispers and rumors started to circulate, though no one dared to voice their suspicions openly. David, ever the devoted husband, noticed the changes in Grace, but attributed them to the pressures of church life. He tried to lighten her load, taking on more responsibilities and encouraging her to take breaks. Yet the distance between them grew, an invisible chasm that neither could bridge. Grace's nocturnal escapades also started to take a toll on her health. The late nights and constant stress began to wear her down. She found herself caught in a relentless cycle of guilt and desire, unable to reconcile the two halves of her existence. The turning point came one fateful evening. Grace had arranged to meet Josh at a secluded spot outside town. As she drove through the winding roads, her mind raced with conflicting emotions. She knew she couldn't keep this up forever, but the thought of giving it up filled her with dread. Unbeknownst to Grace, David had become increasingly suspicious. That evening, he decided to follow her, hoping to understand the cause of her distant behavior. When he saw her car parked outside the rendezvous point, his heart sank. The sight of his beloved wife in the arms of another man was a blow he never saw coming. David confronted Grace, his voice a mix of anger and heartbreak. The truth, once revealed, was a devastating blow to both of them. Grace's secret life shattered the image of the perfect pastor's wife, leaving their marriage in tatters. The revelation of Grace's double life sent shockwaves through Maplewood. The congregation, once united in their admiration for Grace, was now divided. Some felt betrayed, their faith in the Atwoods irreparably damaged. Others, though shocked, extended a hand of forgiveness, understanding the complexities of human nature. Grace and David's marriage faced its toughest test. David, grappling with his own emotions, sought counsel from his faith and the church elders. Grace, filled with remorse, struggled to find a path to redemption. The journey to healing was long and arduous, requiring both to confront their deepest fears and insecurities. In the months that followed, Grace and David embarked on a journey of reconciliation. They attended counseling sessions both together and individually, seeking to rebuild the trust that had been shattered. Grace stepped down from her church duties, focusing instead on personal healing and reflection. The road to redemption was not easy. Grace had to confront the root causes of her actions, understanding the deep-seated desires and dissatisfaction that led her down that path. David, too, had to grapple with his feelings of betrayal and learn to forgive. Their journey was a testament to the power of faith and the resilience of the human spirit. Through prayer, introspection, and unwavering support from their true friends, Grace and David slowly began to rebuild their lives. Their story was a reminder that beneath the surface of every perfect life lies a complex web of emotions and desires. A year after the revelation, Grace and David stood together at St. Stephen's Church, addressing the congregation. Their journey had come full circle, and they were ready to share their story of struggle, forgiveness, and redemption. Grace, no longer the flawless pastor's wife, was now a woman who had faced her demons and emerged stronger. She spoke openly about her mistakes, the lessons learned, and the path to healing. David, by her side, spoke of the power of forgiveness and the importance of compassion. Their story resonated deeply with the congregation. It was a reminder that faith was not about perfection, but about embracing one's flaws and striving to be better. Maplewood, once rocked by scandal, now stood united in its renewed sense of community and understanding. As the church bells chimed once more, signaling a new beginning, Grace and David walked hand in hand, ready to face the future together. Their journey had been a tumultuous one, but it had ultimately brought them closer, forging a bond stronger than ever before.
Thanks for watching, guys. Please support our channel by hitting the subscription button. Don't forget to comment, like, and share. Thank you. And also, it's free, of course.